Greetings, my name is Timothy Collinson. I'm the Faculty Librarian for Technology, and this video is going to take a look at how you can begin to search for journal articles. Check out the other video in this series on looking for journal titles, if that's what you want. But for the moment, we're going to go to the library homepage, library.port.ac.uk. And again, we're going to use this click to search library resources button in the top right corner. And a previous video looked at the library catalogue. This one is going to use Discovery Service up here. So we're going to search for something like artificial intelligence, which we looked for in the catalogue previously, but now we're going to look for journal articles. And the Discovery Service is actually searching a whole host of databases. So in here, you're going to get a lot of results for any typical search that you might do. In this case, nearly 3 million results for artificial intelligence. And if you're very fortunate, it doesn't always happen, but for certain topics, a research starter will pop up to the top. That can be quite useful if you're just getting a grounding in a subject area. It's a bit like a Wikipedia article that will just give you the basics. But it might also give you some good references at the end as well, which can link into further research. So check those out if you get one. And then as you scroll down, you'll see that because we've done quite a general search like this, we're getting book material, and you can find some of our book material this way, but not everything. Do use the library catalogue for specific books, but this can be a useful way into book material as well. If we start to do a more specific search and go to the advanced search to add in an extra term, like, say, for example, deep learning. Oh, let's type it in the right box. Then you'll see that the 2,800,000 results that we've had reduced now to 1,300,000. But you'll also see, because we're looking for a slightly more specific topic, that we're getting academic journal articles, perhaps conference papers, that kind of thing as well. And it will tell you in these little icons what you're finding. And this is what you'll discover with Discovery, that it has a whole host of types of information: conference papers, journal articles, maybe newspaper material, perhaps book material, maybe even videos and so on. So have a look out for those. So how do you begin to really get into what you need? Well, there's a couple of ways of doing it. I've just shown you the first way, and that's to use the advanced search to add additional terms. A second little trick you can use is to use phrase searching. So instead of just looking for the words deep and the word learning, we can look for deep learning together as an exact expression by using quote marks. And now you can see we're down to 681,000 results. We could do exactly the same for artificial intelligence. And again, the number of results we've got will drop again from 681, only 654,000. So we haven't actually thrown out very much. And that's a good indication that artificial intelligence are two terms that are already quite strongly tied together. But it can be a useful trick. If we added a further term, robots, for example, I might be interested in robots, robotics. So I can type all of those as different options, like or, robots, and so on. Or what I can do is use another little trick, an asterisk, to truncate and to search for robots, robotics all in one go. And that will reduce the number of results we get, of course. Just be a little bit careful with truncation, though, that you don't truncate too early. If, for example, you truncated after the B, you'd start to get, I don't know, robberies and that kind of thing. So that's really the first way of refining and narrowing down your results, is to use different keywords and to use different techniques like that. We'll look at that in more detail in another video. You can also, though, use the refine options on the left-hand side to, for example, just search the library catalogue. And there's reasons you might want to do that. Or you can limit by date so that we're only finding, for example, the things published in the last few years. And the other really key way of refining is to use source types to narrow down to just the kinds of source that you want to have a look for. So if we have a look at show more, we could, for example, look for just academic journals and conference materials, and that would limit the results even more. But now we're finding scholarly academic information, which can be really useful in our reference lists to show our tutors exactly what research and work that we're doing on our assignments. The third possibility for refining your results is, oh, I'm getting too much on sort of general artificial intelligence. I really want it to appear just in the title of what I'm finding. Or perhaps you want to search for a particular author. That's possible as well. Or you can use source, for example, to search for, to use discovery as an index, as it were, to particular journals. But I'm going to limit this to title, and you can see this will really reduce the results we've got. But now artificial intelligence should appear in the title of the results that we're getting, which can be useful. So I hope that gives you a very brief introduction to finding journals and using Discovery to do that, and then making the most of our resources that can really show off the research that you're doing, the work that you're doing for your assignments and for your dissertations. And if you've got any questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask.